My name's Nasia. Sometimes I go by Jay or Nasia. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. It's been a minute. Like, I haven't recorded a video in a while. Life has just been so hectic, crazy. I've been doing a lot. But with that being said, I was supposed to continue like my nursing series, but little did I know, I knew, but it all just came so fast and hit so hard. Nursing school is a lot, to say the least, and trying to focus on that, work, and do YouTube or record YouTube videos, it's just too much. So any downtime that I did have, I use that as my downtime to actually relax, because recording a YouTube video and then editing, it's not as easy as it seems. It's a lot of work. So I finally am in a good space to make an update video about my nursing journey. And a lot has happened since then. I'm about to be done. I should have been done this month, but life happens, God be having other plans, and that's fine. Yeah. So the last time that I was on here, it was the beginning of quarantine. And so they were switching everything to online. Now, with school being online, I thought maybe it might have been a little easier, but it's actually harder. With them switching school to online, it actually has been a little bit harder because you're not with your teacher face to face. You're not with your classmates in the classroom getting help. You're basically teaching yourself at home. We have online lectures and things like that, but it's different. It's just not that same environment, it's just different. And then with clinicals and lab, in the beginning of quarantine, we couldn't go to campus at all. So literally we would have clinicals on the computer from 8 in the morning to 6 or 5 in the afternoon, on the computer all day. So we would literally, our teacher would lecture, she would play videos, we would do ATI, case studies, or virtual scenarios, things like that. But we got robbed of we got robbed of that real hospital experience. We didn't get to go be with real patients. Our patients were simulations on a computer. You don't get that real face-to-face connection with your patient. You don't get to do hands-on things, so the information actually sticks with you. Well, that's how I learn. I like to do stuff hands-on because it sticks with me better. I can remember. I'm oh, well, yeah, I remember doing this in the hospital or this in the nursing home, and my patient reacted this way or this happened. So that sucked in the beginning, and it just sucked being on the computer all day. Granted, you got to be home or whatever, but I think I definitely would have much rather been in person somewhere. All of our tests and everything were still online. We're being recorded while we take our tests. Tests still hard as hell. The tests are, and that's the thing. With having to teach yourself, you don't know if you're teaching yourself right. You don't know if you're teaching yourself the proper what's it called, the proper material for what you need to know on the test. Our teachers would give us like outlines of like what the test would have on it, but like, let me tell you, you get the test and it's just like, when did we even learn any of this? Like, did you even go over this at all? Like, it'd be insane. It's still insane. So in the beginning of quarantine, I kind of really struggled. And in the beginning of quarantine, my family just had a bunch of stuff going on. So that's why I had to drop a class. So my program is an accelerated program. It's content heavy. You're going really fast. And there's a lot of requirements within the program for you to be able to pass the class, to graduate, all that. So in my last video, I said this too. In the class, you have to have a 78 average within all of the tests that you take, and you have to have a 78 average with all of the classwork and attendance and things like that. So if you were to have a 85 average in your classwork, but you have a 77.9 for your test average, you failed and you got to take the whole class again. So what I was going through at the time, all my classwork and everything was great, like great scores, but my teacher, I was just not comprehending the information, especially with everything that was going on. It was just hard to like focus in that class. So I didn't feel comfortable, well, I didn't feel confident in myself that I could get the score that I needed to have the average to be able to pass. So I ended up just dropping the class because I didn't want to have that failure on my transcript. It's better if you just have the withdrawal. So I withdrew from that class, which caused me to, which caused my graduation date to be pushed back a couple months. So instead of me graduating in March, now I'll be graduating in June, which isn't a big deal, but like at first I was like so distraught because like, first of all, I've never like failed a class ever. I've never had to drop a class. I've never had to do any of that. I'm usually a really good student, like, so that for me was a first and an experience in itself, and I was just heartbroken. But I got over it, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I'm kind of glad that that did happen because it put me in a position to get other things moving for myself. So that happened with that. So my graduation date is now pushed back to June. It is March now, so I'm going into my last semester of nursing school. So excited. Because it's been fun, but it's been super stressful. I have times where I've been lacking in so much sleep. Girl. Okay, so like I said, in the beginning of quarantine, we did all of our clinicals online. Now, starting last semester, they started putting us in hospitals. Now, all of our clinicals were not in the hospital. We probably had like 2 or 3. We were supposed to have more, but like with quarantine paperwork or just whatever was going on, we didn't get to. And being in the hospital was super cool. Like, my favorite experience so far was getting to go to the Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital. Because what I want to do, what I want to not major in, but like what I want to specialize in has to do with kids and babies. So going to a children's hospital, I was super excited. I didn't care where they put me. I just was happy to be there. But it just so happened that I got placed in the NICU. And I want to be a neonatal nurse, which is, you know, dealing with the babies and all of that stuff. So I was super excited. We got to follow around nurses. When I was in the NICU, I got to hold babies, do assessment on babies, feed babies. I just love babies. So it was super fun. Maybe I'll include a little bit of footage from that day, because I was going to do a day in my life or a week in my life of nursing school. But then, like I said, it's hard to record and then get all the videos together in a big video. Maybe I'll include some of that here. That was an experience in itself. Super fun, but I had to wake up so early to get there. We had to be there from like 6 in the morning to 5. So that means, and the hospital is like almost an hour away from me, maybe like 45 minutes. So I was waking up way earlier than that to get there. But it was worth it. The experience was worth it. I loved it there. Now I went to a different hospital. I'm not gonna name the hospital, just because it was so ghetto. It was so ghetto, and I'm upset because I got that same hospital for this upcoming semester that I have to go back to, and I'm not excited about it at all. Only some of the nurses were willing to teach you and have you follow them. Some nurses are very rude, and they don't want a student nurse following them, and they don't want to help you, they don't want to teach you. But to me, that's so crazy, because it's like, you were once in this position. Why would you act that way towards, a new upcoming nurse? But being in that type of environment, like, you see just a lot of different things, a lot of different people. Some nurses are really mean girls. And it's just like, why are you like that? You're in a caring specialty. There's no reason for you to act that way. But some nurses are just awesome. You can ask them as many questions as you'd like. Like, they're down to help you. They let you do hands-on things while you're in the hospital. They teach you how to like give meds and all that good stuff that a nurse does. But I just thought that hospital was super ghetto, just because of, one, how the nurses were acting towards us. There was another school there that were doing their clinicals at the same time, and their teacher was acting just very rude toward my school. We have no idea why. She was just like, I hate to say it, but she was like a bitch. Like, so, and every time that we went back there, she was just always rude to us and giving us dirty looks and telling us to do this or do that. But it's like, sis, you're not even our teacher. Go over there with your school. So, and I work at a hospital now, and the hospital that I work at, it's a newer hospital. So they have better, like technology or just systems and things like that. So when I went to this hospital, it was a poor hospital. The rooms were very small. The technology or systems that they had there were not so much up to date. Like, their charting systems were just old-fashioned and weird to me, because it's not what I was used to. So I was just like, no, like, I don't know how they did it. All the nurses would have like hella patients, like more than they should, like more than they're not more I don't want to say more than they're capable of handling, but it's more than like you should have in your load to be able to care for each patient properly, I feel, and get to each one in a timely manner. So yeah, that was that. So we would have some clinicals online, and we would do some in person. And what they also added to our curriculum was doing like a Sims day. Sims is simulations, whatever. And during these days, they would actually allow us to go back to campus. And when going back to campus, we would kind of go over skills, and then do skills check-offs and play with the mannequins and make sure that we knew all the skills that were required of us. So for instance, I had a maternal and newborn class. So when we went to go do Sims at school, some of them that they had us do were like assessment of the mother and baby after birth, assessment like during birth. What else would they have us do? How to change like baby's diapers, how to feed them, things like that. And another portion, in a different class, like the lab that we would have, it was how to like insert an NG tube, how to take care of a tracheostomy, how to insert a tracheostomy, how to change a wound, how to care for a wound. What else did they have us do? There's honestly so many skills that we had to go through. It was a lot. Oh, how to insert an IV. We did that. How to set up EKG, how to set up the IV fluids. Like, we did so much. And with the simulations, you do learn a lot too. But at the same time, it's a simulation. It's not a real patient. It's a mannequin. So it's a little different, but still very helpful. So with school being online and everything, and the students not really being able to have that face-to-face contact or like have study groups how we would usually do, what a lot of us did, we would just kind of create a whole group chat for the class, and any questions or any help that we needed, we kind of would just go to the group chat. And honestly, the group chat is so helpful. I know me, like, I have anxiety when it comes to like being a part of groups like that or asking for help or just anything like that. But honestly, in nursing school, you need to have people that can help you, because it's hard to do it on your own. You might be able to do it on your own, but it's going to be way easier if you have people helping you out, because they might understand something you don't. You might understand something that they don't. And you can always use the helping hand regardless. And you never know where everybody ends up. You might end up at the same clinical as this person. You might end up in the same hospital one day after schools are over, like working with this person. You just never know. And we didn't just use the group chat for school. Like, we used the group chat, for instance, for like job searching, or a lot of people that have graduated were looking for like nurse, what are they called? I forget the specific word, but it's like programs for new nurses. So we use that for that. A lot of ACI stuff we would talk about in the group chats. Just things in general. And some people did set up like study groups in their homes and stuff. I just wasn't so comfortable doing that just yet. But like, if you wanted to do Zoom with me, we could do Zoom all day. So that was really good about that. And all of my other students that, you know, I am in class with and everything like that, everyone was super helpful. You see that everyone is kind of going through the same things that you are. Everyone else is stressed. Everyone else doesn't know. Everyone else doesn't understand. So it's just good to feel like you're not the only one going through this. So with that being said, I don't think there's any more information that I can think of right now at the top of my head. I should have wrote a list. It's like it's the weekend now, so starting this Monday, I'm going to be starting my final semester of nursing school. I'm super excited, super nervous. I don't want to jinx myself. I don't feel like it should be too hard, knock on wood, because it's just kind of like it's the end. So what we have for classes, well, what I have for classes right now, I have a leadership and, what is it called? It's a leadership and something class. And then it's a capstone class, which is just like going over review and review and help to take your NCLEX. And then I just have multidimensional care 4. So I'm in my final stages. Hopefully everything goes well. I will be doing clinicals at a hospital, so fingers crossed that all goes well, because that hospital was a hot mess. Hopefully they got their stuff together just a little bit, because I really don't want to go back there, but I have to. But I'm gonna get through it. Yeah, I'm gonna get through it. Last thing, while in nursing school, if you can get a job that has to do with healthcare, like me, I never had a job in healthcare. I've always worked in retail or customer service and things like that. So this past semester, my school actually put me on to a PCT job at a hospital. A PCT is a patient care tech. And to be a patient care tech at this specific hospital, you would either have to have had your CNA license, or you would have to have completed the fundamentals class in nursing school, which I completed, so that's why they hired me. And just being able to work in the hospital side by side with nurses, it helped so much with school. Being able to see, oh, so this is how you do this, and this is the process for this, and just anything like that. And the nurses sometimes, let me help them do things that I'm going to be doing when I am a nurse. So a lot of the stuff, and since I work in a hospital setting, they just do a lot more, I feel, than like they do in the nursing homes. So it just really helps the information stick with me, and it just helps me learn a little better. And I also work night shifts just because I have so much going on throughout the day with school. I really wouldn't be able to work during the day. So night shift works for me. There are some days when I am exhausted because night shift is from like 6:30 at night to 7 in the morning. So there are some days where I'm getting off at 7 in the morning and I would have sim at school at 8. So I would get off from there, change, and go to my school. Or there's some days where I had clinical the whole day. Now, this was the only part where clinical was good to be at home, because I could get off work and then have clinical at home. And honestly, I would kind of fall asleep sometimes. But like, listen, you do what you gotta do. I would still get all my work done prior, because for this specific teacher, I knew when we would go on lunch, she would give us like an extensive amount of time. She'd be like, okay, take the next 2-3 hours to finish this assignment. I finished the assignment so fast and go to sleep and just wake up when we had to be back on camera. So yeah, in nursing school, you gotta sacrifice, you gotta compromise, you gotta do what's best for you. And that's what I've been doing. And now I am almost finished. I can't believe it, really. I'm like so excited. I'm so nervous. So you don't take your NCLEX in nursing school, you take it after. So I'm still having a party either way, because listen, graduating nursing school on its own, big ass great accomplishment. So I don't know how long after I get to take my NCLEX. I have to wait for, I guess, my school to clear me to take it. I want to say it takes a couple of weeks, but I'm not sure, because in the group chat, everyone has kind of said something a little different. And unfortunately, since COVID, I know that we won't be having an actual graduation. They have like an online graduation, but I'm not gonna attend that because that's just BS. But my teacher did say something about them having a drive-through pinning. Now, if we have a drive-through pinning, that's something I'm definitely gonna do. But until then, we'll just have to see what happens. So thanks for tuning in and watching this video. You guys wish me luck on this last semester. Pray for me. I hope you guys have been doing well during quarantine. But if you guys have any questions, anything like that, DM me, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll try to get another video up soon of any updates. So thanks for watching, and I'll try to be more consistent with these videos as much as I can be.